Alright, 6 years of Genshin Impact, and Hoyoverse is about to celebrate it with version 7.1. But this anniversary could be especially interesting because we're getting our first wave of beta information, the anniversary itself lands right inside the patch, and of course the internet has already found something absolutely ridiculous to argue about. A viral rumor claims Hoyoverse is preparing to hand out a free, limited 5-star character along with that character's signature weapon. Yes, you heard that correctly, an entire limited 5-star package for free. But is this actually happening, or did the internet just create another dream reward out of thin air? Today, we're going through the confirmed and leaked rewards for version 7.1, looking at the event weapon, breaking down the free 5-star rumor, and then at the very end, I'm revealing how many pulls a completely free-to-play player can expect to collect during the entire patch. So don't skip ahead because we're saving the best number for last. If you're here for Genshin leaks, future characters, banner predictions, and everything you need to prepare for Snezhnaya, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Now, before we talk about rewards, let's get the calendar straight. Version 7.1 is expected to arrive on September 23rd, right after version 7.0 ends, and it should run until November 3rd. The important date is September 28th, because that's the actual Genshin anniversary, meaning the celebration lands just 5 days after 7.1 begins. So there is absolutely no confusion here. Version 7.1 is the anniversary patch. And considering this is happening around the Snezhnaya launch period, Hoyoverse has a pretty good reason to make the celebration feel bigger than usual. The official 7.1 livestream should take place around the middle of September, and that's when we'll finally get the confirmed rewards, events, banners, and livestream codes. Now, let's start with the reward we can actually be confident about, the standard 5-star Selector. This is not some random screenshot from an anonymous account. Hoyoverse has already established the anniversary Selector, meaning players can choose one standard banner 5-star character. The current lineup is Diluc, Jean, Mona, Keqing, Qiqi, Tighnari, Dehya, and Mizuki. So if you've been missing one of these characters, the anniversary is basically giving you a free opportunity to fill that gap. And there's another nice detail here. The reward also includes ascension materials, so your new character won't just sit at level 1 waiting for you to spend all your resources. And if you've already collected every character in the pool, you aren't completely out of luck. You can use the Selector for a constellation instead. There were rumors that another character might eventually be added to the standard pool, but that hasn't happened, so don't expect the Selector to suddenly turn into a much larger list unless Hoyoverse announces a change. Then we have the classic anniversary goodies. We're looking at around 1,600 Primogems plus 10 intertwined fates coming through login rewards, mail, and anniversary activities. In other words, the anniversary portion alone could give you roughly 20 pulls before you even start counting the rest of the patch. And naturally, there should be the usual collection of cosmetics, name cards, avatars, gadgets, and other small rewards scattered throughout the celebration. So even if we completely ignore the crazy viral leak, there is already a pretty respectable anniversary package here. And if you're planning to spend during 7.1's banners, remember to check out Loot Bar and use code LUCK for 5% off Hoyo game top-ups. They also offer discounts on other gacha games and game keys. The link is in the description if you want to check it out. Now let's move on to something a little more interesting, the free weapon. According to the current leak from Seal, the main event of version 7.1 should reward players with a free 4-star sword, and this time we're apparently getting an actual combat weapon instead of another cosmetic reward. The sword reportedly has 510 base ATK and a 41.3% ATK substat, which is already pretty respectable for a free weapon. But the passive is where things get interesting. Every time you use an elemental skill, you gain 52 elemental mastery for 12 seconds, and the effect can stack twice. Each stack has its own duration, meaning the weapon can potentially maintain its bonus throughout a proper rotation. At full refinement, those stacks reportedly increase to 104 elemental mastery each, and because it's an event weapon, you should be able to get everything required to max its refinement simply by playing through the event. So who wants this thing? The first name that immediately comes up is Odette. Her playstyle revolves heavily around her elemental skill, including her dance double and follow-up attacks, while her damage also benefits from ATK. That makes this sword a surprisingly natural fit for her. You basically press skill again, and the weapon's passive keeps doing its job. For a free-to-play Odette player, this could end up being one of the better accessible weapons available to her. And she isn't necessarily the only character who can use it. Vesna, the upcoming Anemo sword DPS from 7.1, could also turn the weapon into a solid budget budget option. So even if you don't care about Odette, a free sword with a strong ATK stat and useful passive is still something worth grabbing. Now let's get to the part that has completely taken over social media, the supposed free limited 5-star. According to the viral rumor, Hoyoverse is preparing a special anniversary reward where every player can choose an older limited 5-star character they don't already own. Archons would supposedly be excluded, but basically everyone else would be available. And then Hoyoverse would supposedly throw in that character's signature 5-star weapon for free as well. That's not a normal anniversary reward. That's basically handing players an entire premium character package without spending a single Primogem. And obviously, people went crazy over it. But here's the problem, the source. This rumor comes from a single account known as Uncle P Hater, and even the posts spreading the information acknowledge that the leak is subject to change. There is no beta evidence attached to the claim, no convincing documentation, and no serious confirmation from the established leak sources. And this is exactly why you need to understand the difference between something being viral and something being credible. A leak getting 50,000 reposts doesn't magically make it true. Twitter is basically the Wild West of Genshin leaks. Anyone can make an account, post a screenshot, slap a watermark on it, and watch the rumor explode. Reddit is a little better because there is moderation and questionable posts can be flagged, but even there, fake information can survive for a while. The highest level is established leakers with a history of getting information right across multiple patches. And right now, this particular free 5-star rumor isn't coming from that level. It's sitting firmly in the unverified social media category. The biggest red flag is actually the silence. If Hoyoverse were really preparing to give every player a limited 5-star plus a signature weapon, this would be one of the biggest giveaways the game has ever seen. You would expect multiple reliable sources to start talking about it. Instead, we're seeing one questionable claim being repeated over and over again. And then there's Hoyoverse's history. Genshin has been around for 6 years. We've had anniversaries, massive region launches, major celebrations, and plenty of controversial reward discussions, but we have never received a free limited 5-star character together with their signature 5-star weapon. That would be an absolutely massive change in how the game handles premium characters. So right now, my advice is simple. Don't plan your account around this rumor. Treat it as fake unless a genuinely reliable leaker provides evidence or Hoyoverse officially confirms it. Now, could 7.1 still have a surprise? Absolutely. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked at all if Hoyoverse adds something extra. Snezhnaya is one of the biggest moments in Genshin's history, and Hoyoverse clearly has an incentive to bring old players back and keep new players interested. Version 7.0 has already been unusually generous, with a free 4-star character, a free 5-star traveler weapon connected to the story, a free outfit, and other rewards. So an anniversary bonus beyond the standard package makes sense. Maybe more Primogems, maybe another 4-star, maybe an upgraded web event, maybe additional login rewards or cosmetics. There are plenty of realistic ways Hoyoverse could surprise players without suddenly giving away hundreds of dollars worth of premium characters and weapons. And now we've reached the part everyone actually cares about, the polls. Current estimates from Hiragraha suggest that a completely free-to-play player who clears the available content throughout version 7.1 can collect around 11,650 Primogems and 22 intertwined fates. When you convert everything, that's roughly 91 limited banner pulls, plus around 15 acquaint fates for the standard banner. If you're using Welkin, the number climbs to around 114 pulls. And if you're using both Welkin and the paid battle pass, you're looking at roughly 123 pulls across the patch. For a pure free-to-play player, 91 limited pulls in one patch is already a seriously good haul, and that's without counting any potential surprise anniversary rewards that could still be announced. And considering version 7.0 doesn't appear to be centered around a huge map expansion, that total is even more impressive. As for the banners, we're currently expecting Vesna and Vodyanitsa, with Zibai and Lene potentially returning as reruns, although all of that remains subject to change until the official livestream.
So, to sum everything up, the standard 5-star selector is the reward you should actually be planning around. The anniversary should bring roughly 1,600 Primogems and 10 intertwined fates on top of the other activities. A free refinable 4-star sword is expected from the main event, and the viral free limited 5-star plus signature weapon rumor is something I would absolutely not trust yet. And finally, the current estimate is around 91 limited pulls for a fully free-to-play player, 114 with Welkin, and approximately 123 with Welkin and Battle Pass. The real answers should arrive during the 7.1 livestream in September, and the moment Hoyoverse confirms the rewards, banners, and codes, I'll be covering all of it. So make sure you're subscribed, and tell me in the comments, if Hoyoverse suddenly gave you one free limited 5-star character, who would you pick? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!